What is up, guys? Teddy Cornwall here. Welcome to the Underdog Talk, the world's most underrated podcast on earth. Today, you see him in the building, the man who goes by Bubba, the celebrity bodyguard, a man who's inspired many. I mean, the one and only Bubba. How you doing today, big man?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you having me on your platform, and hopefully you're doing great. And I really appreciate it again for you, taking your time out and to have me on this platform.
Yeah, and I mean, you've done, before we go into kind of your accomplishments, when did you really, obviously, martial arts has been a passion for you. When did you really start, martial arts? What was the age you started that at, and why martial arts?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm glad you asked. So, I started martial arts around I would say 9 or 10 years old, and actually, interestingly enough, I think from my parents' perspective, it was just like more of a form of trying to get me, extra discipline. I grew up in, unfortunately, respectfully, a very toxic, abusive environment. Experiencing domestic violence in the house and my siblings would run away from home, unfortunately, and went through physical, verbal, abuse. And I just think it was another channel that my mom maybe thought, here's another male figure that can punish my child. And so at first, I didn't want to go into the class, and it was just like I was just intimidated. I didn't know what to expect. And so thankfully my instructor came out and talked with me, and the rest was history. And so I'm grateful for that. And his name was Sensei Sean Saunders. I trained with him at a elite, Panther Academy martial arts in on the eastern shore of Maryland. And yeah, so then just got into it and was very passionate about it. And just love to learn the arts, the disciplines, um, some of the languages, and just all the great things, like the focus, and just pushing your body, and pushing your greatness to new levels, and learning how to be situationally aware, and having personal safety, and self-defense, and all these great things, and leadership traits, and just learning to strive for your goals as well. So those are traits that you can carry with you every single day.
Yeah, and I'm sure, you know, uh, your upbringing made you who you are. I know it was a tough upbringing, like you mentioned, and I'm
Thank
sorry you
you.
had to go through that. And
Thank you,
for
sir.
anyone going out there, there's help and all of that. What did you learn about yourself in this, different, tough childhood that hopefully people don't have to go through? What did you learn about yourself?
Yeah, it's a great question. I just learned that there's two sides of pain. There's a side of pain of what you might feel like when you're going through those battles. You might feel defeat, you might feel hurt, you might feel sadness, you might feel like just at the bottom of life, respectfully. And but if you just keep pushing every day, and keep pushing and praying, and you stack Monday on top of Tuesday, on top of Wednesday, on top of Thursday, on top of Friday, and just keep going every day, and having faith, and having the mental fortitude, and knowing that it's not what's happening to you, it's what's happening for you. And those moments don't define who you are. What defines who you are, who what defines you, is what you do when you're faced with adversity. And I always just said, adversity is for it to be taken head on. And that adversity is small compared to the God, to the Creator that we serve. And that's why your faith is so important. That's why your spirituality is important. And there's nothing that can't be defeated with prayer. And I grew up in the Catholic upbringing, so religion and prayer and all these things, obligations, were important to me. And eventually I saw that there was a second side of pain as I got older in life. That there was a champion, that there was greatness, that there was honor, on that other side of pain. But few people will ever get to experience that, because they give in, or they give up, or they quit, or they don't, they allow that first side of pain to bring them down, and have them in a state where they just feel like they can't continue, or they shouldn't be doing something, and yeah, that's just, that's what I learned. And I learned that, as I got older, most importantly, that test that you're going through will lead to a testimony, and that testimony will lead to you being able to share that one day, and your testimony could save somebody's life.
And I mean, man, that hit on a different level. I felt every word on that. I started a new job. While it is nowhere near comparing to your pain, it's I wanted to give up at times. I'm again not comparing it to the pain you went
Yes,
through,
sir.
but that adversity, looking it in the face, and obviously prayer and just spirituality, and not giving up is truly an amazing message. And for anyone out there who is going through, like you talked about, Bubba, that pain, that first side of pain, um, it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better, and it's also going to strengthen you as a human being. Would you agree on that?
Absolutely. Like, when you're going through those things, don't question anything. Just keep going every day, and just know that at the end of that, there's light at the end of that tunnel, at the end of that battle. And if David could come out of the lion's den, if or excuse me, if Daniel could come out of the lion's den and David could defeat the Goliath, with just a pebble, faith, and a slingshot, there is nothing that you can't do to that Goliath, or that battle, or that test, or that adversity that is in front of you. And you have to equip yourself, and that's equipping yourself with faith. That's equipping yourself with having it in your mind that no matter what, you don't settle for less, you don't give up, you don't bow to what is that to what is at you. And just hold on to the promise, the biblical promise, that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, Isaiah 54:17. Whatever people say of you and whatever happens to you, you will rise you will rise past above that. And just always know that. And yeah, it's definitely going to give you strength, it's going to give you courage, going to give you bravery going through those things. And it's going to give you wisdom. God can turn your wounds into wisdom, and your pain into purpose, and your pain into passion, and your pain into profit. There is nothing that he can't do.
And I'll say, Bubba, I needed to hear that personally. Again, my adversity is a new job. Again, not comparing it to what so many people are going through, not comparing that, but fighting it, enjoying, almost smiling in that kind of adversity, going, hey, I'm here, I'm not leaving, and praying to God and doing all that and believing and trusting the process. Now, it
And
seems like,
if I could add, sorry to interrupt you,
no,
is
you're
that
good.
sometimes the pain we're feeling and experiencing in life, sometimes it's not even about us. Sometimes it's about a greater purpose. That
Hmm.
pain one day is going to help somebody else. That
Yeah.
pain you're going through, going through right now, years from now, you might not see it tomorrow, next week, or this year. It could be years from now. That pain could save somebody's life. That experience, that wisdom that you give somebody, that empowerment, that encouragement of, hey, I went through that, and you're going to get through what you're going through. That could stop them from suicide, that could stop them from giving up on their aspirations, ambitions, and dreams, and biggest goals. And that's why it's important to pour into people. When you meet people, even, you don't have to be Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos to change the rail, or the president. You can pray for people, encourage people, motivate, inspire them. Give somebody a meal, pay something forward, and just a few simple words of, hey man, keep your head up, or hey, don't give up, or anything, just something so small. You don't know that the impact, the magnitude that could have on somebody's day, on their life, on their situation. And it could literally be life changing.
Yeah. And you are put on this planet, Bubba, for a purpose. And I see that purpose because, man, in these
Thank you.
10 minutes, you have motivated me and, really changed my perspective on a lot of
Yes,
things.
sir.
I'm looking
Thank you.
at something in a different perspective, and that's what you do. And you have so many hats, and obviously you speak to people. You're a bodyguard. I guess, how do you balance being so many different hats, essentially, Bubba?
Yeah, just having it in my goals, and in my mindset, and in my prayer channel, to be the best at everything, that I do in life. Understanding obviously God is the supreme, he's the greatest, he's the greater, but you just to have that everyday pursuit of greatness, and just knowing that, how great really can my pain be, that if God gave me a chance today, how really great is that pain, and you gotta say that to yourself, because there's somebody going through something so much 10 times worse than what we might be facing right now. And if God is allowing you to a new breath, a new opportunity, a foot in the right direction, you got to appreciate that. And that's what I can say. And yeah.
And that's something I'm going to keep with me. And someone's always going through something worse. Be blessed where you are, and be blessed, and that God is there for you. I totally agree on that.
and
And
and this is what I could say as well, sir, is that you know if we look at it like this, if we drop all of our problems in life and we went to pick them back up, we would be so very grateful for the problems that we do have. We would want our problems back in a snap of a finger. We would do anything. We would drop to our knees and cry and beg, to have our problems back. And that's why in life, you can't ever question things. And just always know that, no matter what you're going through, that if God gave you a new opportunity today, even if we didn't get things right yesterday, he gave us an opportunity today to get things right. And we have to be appreciative of that. We have to have gratitude. We have to be thankful. And most importantly, we have to display humility and being humble in life,
yeah,
and yeah, just be the epitome of humble. And, because what God blesses, he can also take. And, don't ever think that, you know, somebody going through something, and maybe you laugh at them, or maybe you carry yourself better than them or look down on them. Never think that God couldn't put you in that situation.
yeah. Wow. I needed to hear this, and for everyone who's watching, if you need to hear this, replay that. Go back into this podcast, re-listen to what Bubba said, because that was powerful. And you know, the other cool thing is, and I mentioned, you're a bodyguard. I mean, that's
Yes,
pretty
sir.
cool. How did you
Thank you.
transition from security to being a bodyguard, a celebrity bodyguard? I mean, what did
Yeah.
that entail?
Exactly. So it's a great observation. So, I started security very young. At 17, I
Mhm.
got an
17.
opportunity, and I was working in Ocean City, Maryland, a major
Mhm.
BMX concert and skate venue on the beach. And interestingly enough, I think in the state where I was working, you had to be like either 18 or 21, probably 18 to start security. And I wasn't even 18 yet. I didn't have my security guard's license, but somebody just gave me an opportunity. And that's why in life, when somebody gives you an opportunity, you have to be grateful, and also you have to be ready, be prepared, and
Mhm.
even if everything's not perfect, when that opportunity comes, take that opportunity and just give it 110%,
Yeah.
because you never know what that opportunity could do for you. And you never know, like, just what connections you may make, what experience you may gain, what knowledge, what wisdom, what friendships, things of this nature. So, money spends once, but knowledge and connections will monetize forever. And that's important. And, so yeah, just got that opportunity, and it was just amazing. Like, I mean, it was a blessing. I'm like, man, I'm right here on the beach, around these celebrities, Lupe Fiasco, Talib Kweli, Kid Cudi, Bucky Lasek, Sean White. All these people visited this event, and people from all over came to this event. And it was just a blessing. I'm like, man, I have access to all of the event. And it was just like, you know if they told me I had to do it for free, I would have, because I just love being in that environment, and love helping people, and things of that nature. Helping people stay safe, stay comfortable, stay with peace of mind, stay secure.
Yep.
Helping them stay out of trouble. And I just love that feeling of knowing, like, security is crucial.
Yep.
Because if we have a mishap, that's the make or break of this whole event. So it's important that we're, on point, and that we're doing our job to the best of our duties. And yeah, so I had this epiphany that it was just my passion, purpose, and higher calling in life. It was my why. That I'm a firm believer that the alarm clock doesn't wake me up in life. That every day the goodness, grace, and mercy of God wakes me up. And because no matter, you know, when you fall asleep, no matter how bad you want to wake up, once you're asleep, you can't physically wake yourself back up. That's coming from a higher source, a higher power. And I just understood that and just kept growing and evolving in my training and just putting my best foot forward every day. And eventually would start working in casinos doing security.
Oh,
Then I got like my guards license, my gaming license, tip certification, medical training, first aid, AED, CPR. Just got everything under my belt, and I was still training in the martial arts. And then I would at times, bounce at places and like bars and top nightclubs. And then I was a security manager next to a top nightclub in America in Ocean City, Maryland. And there, we dealt with everything from, unfortunately, people being stabbed to riots to evictions, medical emergencies, um, you name it, everything. And, so that was a lot of experience coming under my belt as well. And then I was also a facility monitor
well,
at Northside Park at a major recreation complex in Ocean City, Maryland. And again, was doing active shooter training, all these different things. And so one day, how it transitioned from security to bodyguarding, kind of two different things happened. Is so I don't know if you remember the hit show on MTV called Jersey Shore.
yep.
I seen Vinny Guadagnino from MTV's Jersey Shore. He was walking through the parking lot late at night after I guess he got out of the nightclub that was next door. And I was like, oh wow, that's Vinny. So I went up, introduced myself, and I said, hey, I'm the security manager here. I have a key set to the stairwell. I'd like to take you up the stairwell and get you to your room, because if we take you through the lobby right now, you're going to be waiting a long time for an elevator, and also there's a lot of people in there. They're going to be, like kind of heckling maybe or wanting pictures or
Yeah.
things of that nature. And he seemed like he was just low key and stuff, and that he really, he was just having a good night out. And some people just don't want to be bothered, and, with that at that moment. And so he appreciated that. I took him up the stairwell, got him to his room. I think he was on like the fourth floor in our south building. And just from doing that, he tipped me, tipped the whole security staff. He bought all of us pizza for the hotel, all the employees at the night shift. And just every summer, like when he would come back, him or his entourage would reach out to me, and I would just start bodyguarding him. And then eventually, I just, from working all those jobs, I just was like getting burnt out. And
Mhm.
I just had this moment, like, I was driving home one day, and I just had a conversation with God. And eventually my friend was, he was a videographer in New York, and he was, kind of doing his thing, mingling with some celebrities, and shooting like music videos and different things. And he said, hey, why don't you come out here and be my personal driver? And I'm like, okay. So I left everything just on a wing and a prayer, and end up being something that was crucially, important to my career and my life as a bodyguard. And so I went out there. I would drive him to Cardi B's music producers
Wow.
studio in Fairfield, New Jersey. And his name was Swift. He was on Love and Hip Hop. And so, I would just drive him, and I would stay in the vehicle. And one day he called me, and I said, hey, is everything all right? He said, yeah, the client wants you to come in, and he wants to meet you. And I said, okay. So I went in, met Swift, and I was in there for all of maybe 5 minutes. And he's like, I want you to start working security for me. And he just liked my demeanor, and just, was able to, fall in touch with who I was as a person with just in those few minutes of meeting him, which is pretty powerful. And he said, like the first day, I already started working for him. I was driving for him, did security for him and his girlfriend when they went to the mall. And then end up doing security for him for quite a while, and would also be connected with a lot of other clients that I would do transportation for or get to meet, or started developing access to, like, drivers with the black SUVs and things of this nature. So networking is so crucial. They say your network is your net worth, and it's important. It's like anymore, it's really about who you know. And if you know the right people, you can make things happen very quickly. And once you show you're a one-stop shop where you offer everything. Nobody will have any other reason to, excuse me, to go anywhere else. And excuse me, and yeah, so that was a blessing, and end up working my way all the way up to being the head of security at the music studio. Would be with Swift, even lived in with him, and was his personal driver and his bodyguard, and yeah. So and then fast forward, now I've gone on to protect some of the top names in the world, respectfully. Muhammad Ali's wife, Muhammad Ali's children, Muhammad Ali's first family. Damar J. Smith, he was on the Ellen Show about 9 times. A young man that's a motivational speaker and trainer. And, he was a remarkable young man. He got to race Usain Bolt, was in the NBA All Star game, coaching next to Drake, played with in the game with Justin Bieber. So, he lived a remarkable life for a young man. He was famous at 8 years old, approximately. And, yeah, just other people, and, from Ravens players to, various other things. And, it was just, it's a blessing. And also did security for Grant Cardone, Elena Cardone, was the head of security at the 10X Growth Conference
Wow.
in Aventura, the Miami area. And yeah, that was a blessing, because I was around so much information, so much networking, so many celebrities. And, that was a huge responsibility because that's the number one business event as voted by Forbes.
Wow.
And, just to be in that room and, to be with those high rollers and people with high net worths, and it just inspired me, and it just, just channeled so much greatness, and I knew I was like, God is putting me around these people for a reason. And, one thing I'll tell you a powerful story, so a lot of people ask me, well, how did you get connected with Muhammad Ali's wife? That's pretty much always what they ask me, once I tell them I work for the Ali family. And so I was down in Florida a couple years ago, I would say about 5 years ago, approximately. And so I reached out to her, like I sent her a DM, and also I had some mutual friends that knew her. And at the time, I was down there working for a gentleman that had like a high end luxury rental service with cars. And I would like be his driver, his security, his repo man. Like when people would rent the vehicles and not want to return them on a time, on the proper time frame, or if they took the vehicle, like to Orlando when they weren't supposed to take it, out of a certain parameter of miles. And, so like, yeah. So anyway, I reach out to her, and then I had my mutual friends reach out to her, and they just, attested to me as a person, attested to my character, things of this nature. And, before you know it, she called me one day, and I'm like, wow, this is an honor. And, because I mean, at that point I had been around, a lot of celebrities, but, like to me as a young man when I was growing up, Muhammad Ali was a superhero. He was, that's why he's nicknamed respectfully the greatest of all time. And, just what he stood for, outside the ring, what he fought for in equality and social justice, and, for his religion and everything, what he stood for. And, we could really use a Muhammad Ali in these times, respectfully. And, Muhammad Ali went to heaven, so we all could find the Muhammad Ali in us. And, you know, yeah, so she calls me, and we set up dinner, and I met her. And, like when she pulled into that parking lot, we met her at her car, myself and my partner. And, I just wanted to give her that great experience, like around, when you're around certain caliber of people, there's not nothing that's going to impress them that you're going to say, because, respectfully, this is a woman that has met over 50 heads of state. She's, she was friends with Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, Lou Rawls, Jane Fonda, all these icons. She's met prime ministers, she's met, presidents. And, so being around her, if you're gonna impact them, it's gonna be by the context of your heart, the type of person you are, and how you carry yourself as a professional.
Yeah.
So, just gave her, rolled the red carpet out, basically gave her white glove treatment, got her into the restaurant. And, like it was amazing, because it was like when I met her, like, you ever just met somebody and it felt so good? It just like it was just like almost like it was meant to be.
Meant to
That's
be.
how it was with her. It was just, I mean, when we sat down and had dinner, it was like I had known her my
Yeah.
entire life almost. It was, and at first she thought the other guy was Bubba because he's even bigger than I am. He's much bigger than me, and she thought he was Bubba. And I said no, ma'am, I'm Bubba, and she said, oh, okay, okay, and she just told us about her entire life story, how she met Muhammad Ali, how they got married, just everything, and pretty much from start to finish. In the time that we were at dinner, we had dinner for almost 4 hours. While we were there as well, there was this iconic photo of Muhammad Ali. I don't know if you ever seen it when he punched the Beatles in the ring. Like, it was an iconic photo,
Wow.
and like, obviously he was playing around, and then it was massive, and they took it off the wall and they brought it in. We had a private room, and they brought it into the room, and they said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but we have to ask you to sign this." And she's like, "Okay," and I'm like, when I seen her do that, I'm like, man, this woman is humble because a lot of celebrities, they don't like to be bothered when they're eating,
Mhm.
especially when they're in like a private room and we're having like a meeting. And once I saw her do that, I'm like, man, this woman is humble. And so she signed it and everything. They put it back up on the wall, and yeah, she fed us until my partner even had to take his duty belt off. She fed us so much, like, the food just kept coming, and the conversation kept flowing, and it was amazing, like, and I told her also about the bullying prevention work that I do, the anti-bullying initiatives, and she said that's right up my alley. And I was like, wow, like, when
Perfect
she
question.
told me that, I'm like, I was in shock. And she said, yeah, I was once bullied as a child. And it's amazing. Who would have ever thought that she was bullied, because she ended up becoming a ninth degree black belt one day. And she was, she studied under Bruce Lee. She was in movies, the China Syndrome, Jane Fonda film, sparring Chuck Norris. So it's why it's amazing to learn people's stories, and because if somebody told you one day they're a ninth degree black belt, you would have never thought they were being bullied at one point in their life. And she said that kids were very cruel to her. She didn't mind having homework, so the teacher would be like, all right, who wants homework tonight? She would raise her hand, and so the kids would bring animals to school and put them in her book bag or lock her in the bathroom, and just torture her and torment her. And but she persevered past that, and yeah, it was incredible. And not only the relationship we had from a client, bodyguard perspective, but also for the mission that we're fighting still. We're both prominent anti-bullying
Yep.
champions, and we she's come to my community an ample amount of times to come to my toy drives for the less fortunate, families and kids that are in need at Christmas. And she'll speak, she'll sign autographs, and it's powerful. When people see that, they're like, here they are, they're together, but they're not just he's not just protecting her, and she's not just paying this guy to give her a protection service. These are people that are on a serious mission in life, that they understand their assignment from God, and that they're together for a greater purpose, and they understand that they didn't just meet by coincidence, that they met for a greater good, a greater purpose. And she's also come to my celebrity basketball game that I did to bring awareness to bullying prevention and mental health. And she's come to my annual Bodyguard give back that I do every October for National Bullying Prevention Month, where youth victims of serious abuse, bullying, and neglect get complimentary bodyguard service for the day.
Wow.
And that year when she came, we were actually joined by the United States Secret Service, and we had like a state senator there, and it was powerful. We had like about, I would say, 10 bodyguards that came from all over the world, or excuse me, all over the nation, from New York to Minnesota. I mean, these people traveled in, and just to be there for those kids, to know that to remind those kids, you're not alone in this struggle. And we will rally behind you, and you will defeat these bullies, and we will educate you of what to do when you're being bullied. That if us as bodyguards can use flight over fight, you remove yourself from that environment, you let God raise you up, and you get out of there. That if we could do that, you do that as well. And you tell that bully, I'll pray for you, because that person, that boy or that girl, they're going through a time in their life where they're miserable, and they're just taking it out on you. And maybe they just haven't been taught love, or maybe they're being abused at home and they think this is normal behavior, or they're taking it out on you. You just never know. And that's why it's important in life not just to treat the victims, but also treat the aggressors, treat the bullies, because if you just treat the victims, you still have a bully out here that's wreaking havoc, and that is going and creating, that is behaving like, out of control, and causing more people to be victims. And yeah, we just educate them in situation awareness, and tell them, a lot of things that could arguably save their life. And it's an experience that's arguably life saving and life changing. And they get light and siren police escorts going through the intersections. You know, um, Everything. I mean, they get presidential treatment. They've got high end luxury vehicle service before that same year on the fourth annual one, when Dr. Ali was there. They were in a AMG G wagon G63. So just things that we want to inspire them so big, and want them to feel so loved, that giving up is never on their mind, not even for a split second. And that, because unfortunately, kids that are being seriously habitually bullied, there's a few things that can happen. Is that they could allow that, pain to change them for a greater purpose in life, or unfortunately, kids could get so dark they don't want to see tomorrow, or they could retaliate against their aggressor, or they could get to a situation where they think this is normal behavior, or they start acting like a bully as well. So that's why it's important to catch it. And once we do that experience, those kids and those families, they have access to us the rest of their life. If that kid's being bullied at school, on the bus, in the playground, wherever it is, I've shown up to kids therapy appointments, to go in there and just to be with them, and for them to feel comfortable and secure. They wanted me to show up. I've shown up at kids' homes, if they've been abused in the house, and just everything, and it's a mission that I'm very serious on. And because what great is it one day in life if I just talk about my accolades, and talk about who I protected, and I forgot that the most important is America's VIPs, and that's our youth. We have to protect our youth, and we have to instill in them the right way, and we have to understand that they're the next presidents, they're the next governors, the next vice presidents, they're the next future leaders of tomorrow. They're the next chief of polices, the next fire chiefs, the next senators, delegates, whatever it looks like that is in their aspirations, and in their channel of life. And because most kids, Dr. Ali says, most kids by 10 years old, they have already dreamed of what they want to be in life.
You are meant to be. I mean,
Thank
you
you.
are doing God's work, and that is. I want to say so much more about what you just said, but I really, to sum it up, I mean, you are truly a good human being,
Thank
and
you.
you
Thank
are everything is falling. I mean, you took that risk. You took that risk where going to New York. You took that risk, and to me, a lot of people don't want to take that risk. They're scared of it.
you.
But
Exactly.
like we talked about in the beginning, being in those new situations, that's how you grow as a human being. And I'm starting to learn that being in new situations, being in that adverse moments, those pain moments, that's how you grow, how you become stronger. And I mean, you have an amazing story, probably one of the most unique stories I've ever had the pleasure and privilege to have on my podcast,
Thank
and
you.
one that resonates with me. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really listen to my podcasts once I'm done with them. I let other
Yeah.
people listen to them and tell me. I will be telling you this, Bubba. Tomorrow morning, I am going to be going back and listening to the first 10 minutes of this podcast, probably 20, probably 30, whatever this is, because I am just so invested and I learned so
Thank
much
you.
personally. And I hope everyone who's watching learns just as much as I did about, you know, it could always be worse. But hey,
Absolutely.
if you're in a moment, don't give up. Don't give up. Use the resources, find the resources, and ultimately, like Miss Ali, like you became a stronger person because of that pain, because of the bullying, because of your childhood. You are a stronger individual, both mentally and physically. And that's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like you just you touched on it so well, and you said it so well. And it's like I always just reflect. I'm like, man, who would have ever thought, a young man that went through respectfully AT double hockey sticks as a child, that was abused physically, verbally, that saw his sisters run away, that went through custody and court battles, and didn't have a father figure. He was physically on this earth, but just not in my life. So I experienced abandonment, neglect, and like a single mother to six children. And who would have ever thought, going through those things, that one day that person would become a protector. And it's amazing, because God will walk you through those waters,
Yeah.
because he knows the assignment, the calling that is on your life. He has to walk you through that, because where you're going, you're going to deal with people that have imminent immediate danger in their life, that have stalkers, that have threat levels, that you're going to see the best of life as a bodyguard, and you're going to see the worst of life, where people literally could not even function at their events and in their daily routines and in their life without your physical net of protection and safety and guidance and leadership, and being a positive role model and helping them navigate their life and their safety situations. So it's powerful. And that's why you got to just you never question God. And just even through the pain, praise him, and even through the worry, worship. And just know that God could take your struggle and turn it to success. And he could take a negative and turn it to a positive. Where God accelerates and shows up and shows out the best, actually is in the impossible. When I was going through my childhood, man, it just was like,
Oh, never
with
ending.
like it was like, with all due respect, it was like, man, am I gonna make it out of here? Like, am I gonna see to another day? Like, I remember just the violence that was put in, that I was in, and the toxicity, and the bad environment, and being locked in my room, and just being beaten with anything you could think of. And just so it's amazing that that of these situations God can bring you out of. And actually, like you said, you touched on it, that just be a good person, be a good human in life. It's really not that hard. We um sometimes we make life to be a little more than what it is. And really, it just all boils down to just be a good person, be a good human. And that's just know that your integrity is intact, and your heart is in a good place. And just treat people how you want to be treated, and be kind always, and pray every day.
I think this podcast is for me and no one else. If you're watching this is just for me. I'm the one who needs to hear all this. But man, again, I can't agree on more of that. And you are actually coming out with a book or a memoir,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Heart of
sir.
a Bodyguard.
Yes.
And will
So
this kind of stuff be in that memoir?
absolutely, it's going to be, you know, um, without me compromising my integrity or compromising a
Mhm.
client's,
Mhm.
safety and things of this nature. It's pretty much going to be a tell-all. And from my, from when I was born all the way till now. And it's going to talk about my childhood struggles. It's going to talk about not having a father figure, the abuse I went through. It's going to be talking about my, as a teenager, I had a very serious, tough, lengthy battle with Lyme disease, level 4 out of 5. Where I was just bedridden. And I was a very active young man. I played almost every sport you can name under the sun, and always was out in the neighborhood, always playing basketball, and just had a lot of hustle, drive, and motivation. And you know, it just bedridden me, and I was extremely irritable. And just I felt like I had arthritis in my body. And yeah, it was unlike anything I've ever experienced. And so I was on antibiotics for a long time. And thankfully, God brought me past that situation. And all glory to God. He's amazing. He's a miracle worker. Every day he's healing people, allowing people to leave the car accident scene, allowing people to walk out of the hospital, allowing people to be cured from cancer. God is he's in the blessing business, and he's always looking for somebody to bless. And he has us in mind, and we should keep him in mind too. He makes 24 hours for us every day. The
Mm,
least we could do is just give him a few minutes of just talking to him and conversation and prayer and gratitude.
yeah.
And yeah. And so my book is going to be titled "Heart of a Protector:
Okay.
Navigating Life's Battlegrounds with Faith and Fortitude." And yeah, it's going to be powerful. And God willing, I'll also have a forward from Dr. Ali. She'll be writing my forward, God willing, to the book. And I have a lot of testimonials in there, from sheriffs to
Wow.
Drummer Boy Fresh, who's a Grammy award-winning music producer, produced
Wow.
some of the biggest anthems, and yeah, a lot of different things. And um, testimonials from Dr. Sheila Chamberlain, who's the first black combat intelligence pilot in the military, and just a lot of important figures. And it's going to show people, my life, and before a bodyguard, my life as a martial artist, my life as a bodyguard, and just everything in between. And because I think people are intrigued by that. They're intrigued by, all right, what goes into keeping these people safe that you're protecting, and what is it like in a day of a life of a bodyguard, and also what is it like being around these celebrities? What are they like? And things of this nature. And what does it entail? What does it take to keep these high net worth, high profile individuals safe, day in and day out? And yeah, and it will also show people like how I was able to get into certain rooms and get around certain opportunities and work for certain celebrities, and things of this nature. And obviously it's going to be a lot of great storytelling. I also, in my downtime, I drive for Lyft and Uber. I'm a 5-star rated Lyft and Uber driver. And yeah, just that's a way for me to sharpen my skills. It's a way for me to practice empathy, sympathy, kindness, my people skills, and be sharp as a driver. And because bodyguarding and driving, it goes almost hand in hand.
Yep.
And yeah, so it's a blessing, and it's a great opportunity to network and be of service to the community, to help keep the roads clear from DUIs and drunk drivers and fatalities, and things of this nature. So yeah, it's a lot that goes into those roles. And I'm just grateful, because everything I do in life, I want it to have impact, and I want it to be fulfilling for me, and I want it to um, make a difference in people's lives. Leave people better than what I find them, and make the world a better place.
I'm going to say you do. I mean, I also have to
Thank you,
add that you got the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. Congratulations from the bottom of my heart. I
thank you,
don't
sir.
think too many people deserve it more than you, Bubba.
Thank you,
Just
thank
in
you.
these 40 minutes, I mean, you truly are exemplary and truly one of one. And I'm kind of at a loss for words, man. And actually, real quick, shout out to Nicole Malachowski, who first female Thunderbird pilot. She was on the podcast,
Oh
and
wow,
she got Lyme disease, and it really changed her life. She's a huge Lyme disease advocate, and truly a pioneer, and truly one of one. So thinking of her, and she's doing, she's a big advocate for all that, and she. Like you said, it was a tough time for her. She talks about it, Lyme disease being one of the darkest times of her life. Um,
wow,
and a lot of people don't understand how riddling Lyme disease is. Um,
absolutely.
I, I had it, but I got
It's
it
like
caught.
it's
Yeah,
like crippling. You're right. It's like it almost cripples you.
yeah.
Mentally, your mental
Mhm.
fogginess, your body pain, just
Wow.
everything, and it just takes you to a state of. I mean, you just know something's not right.
Yeah.
Very not right. Yeah.
Now, this is the Underdog Talk podcast. And I mean, you've kind of already said a lot of stuff, how, you went through pain and you came out stronger. What to you has been your biggest underdog moment in your life where everything was stacked against you? The odds were not in your favor, but you overcame it and you proved a lot of people wrong and did something that you necessarily shouldn't have done.
Yeah, I would say, you know, a lot of different moments that could be, it could be my childhood, it could be when I had my serious, tough, lengthy battle with Lyme disease. It could be, different times in the bodyguard sector, where sometimes, a small, that there's people in this field, respectfully, just like other fields, where, you know, um, again, some, not all, where there
Mhm.
might be envy, jealousy, there might be, people trying to work against you instead of working with you, and the naysayers and things of that nature. And you just got to be grateful for that, because that's a chance for you to respond, and that's a
Mhm.
chance for you to have a testimony. That's a chance for you to take that, instead of being ticked off at them, be ticked off for greatness. Channel that
Yep.
passion to turn it into rocket fuel and chase your dreams. And remember what that felt like. And when you have an opportunity to make an impact on somebody, that you would do it. And that you be humble in life. When you're coming up the ladder, you be kind to reach back down and turn around, and be kind enough and humble enough to help those that are coming behind you and coming under you.
Yep.
And I think just all throughout life, that there's going to be moments where you feel like an underdog, and you feel like maybe there's doubt creeping in from the outside, but they don't give you your peace, joy, pride, and happiness, and they darn sure can't take it. It comes from a higher source, a greater power, and God will never run out. So we will never run out of our resources. God is supernatural. Ask and you shall receive. And you know our lives, like our dreams and aspirations, ambitions, they're already in our DNA. That we just got to go act on them. It's that that vision of you wanting to be president, that vision of you wanting to be the greatest bodyguard, that vision of you wanting to have the biggest podcast, that vision of whatever it looks like. It's in you for a reason, and you just got to act on it, and you got to go out and get what is yours, take what is yours. How will you be remembered? Will you be remembered? You got to ask yourself that every day. And
Wow.
you got to leave something greater than you, because one day, God, that there's a sand timer ticking on above all of us that we can't see. It's invisible. We don't know when God is going to call us home. So you got to leave something one day that's going to be even greater than you. And that could be your impact on people, that could be your impact on the planet, that could be just whatever it looks like. And yeah, so yeah, I think there was a lot of underdog moments in my life, where I could touch on, but where there's one specifically, um you know I'm not too sure, but just like I said, all these different times. And even after, say, when we do this interview, there will be another opportunity.
Mhm.
There will be another moment in my life, I'll say, where I could be the underdog. So but it's just knowing that you're the most high child of God. That we're royalty. We are made in the perfect image of God. And God is perfect. He's never made a mistake, and God never ends on a negative. So just hold on to that. And I'll say that again, that God never ends on a negative. So whatever it is that you feel like you're the underdog in, whatever situation, whether it's a workplace, whether it's a family, whatever, that the black sheep eventually turns to the goat. And just know that. And like, even for me, I don't talk to much of my family, if any at all. But just know that sometimes it's not always what we're blessed with in life. Sometimes it's what we're removed from, or what we're saved from, or that is taken from us, that's even a bigger blessing than what we're given in life.
Because God can see it all. And honestly, if you're ever like, hey, I'm done bodyguarding, motivational speaking is the next up for you, man,
Thank you.
because you are truly incredible at that. I was more focused on your motivation than you as a bodyguard,
Thank you.
which is insane. Now,
People been telling me that a lot lately. They're like, man, you got to get into motivational speaking. And sometimes they even say, they're like, I met this lady one day in Uber. I think it was Uber. And I just started praying for her. I could just, like, sometimes I just have this discernment to know, like, somebody's going through something, and God just placed it on my heart and in my prayer channel to pray for that woman. And I just started praying for her. And she was like, she said, in the midst of you praying, I asked myself, is this guy a pastor? I'm like, man, I really must have been praying something bold over her.
Wow. And man, you are gonna kill it, and you're killing it, man. And I
Thank
hope
you.
everyone watching this took something away from this podcast, because I took a lot. I mean, from going through adversity, from not giving up, from literally so many different aspects of life, praising God and believing God, and just not ever giving up. And for those who are in a tough situation, it will get better. It will get better. Don't give up. Keep fighting. Like you said, Bubba, which was really an amazing point. Monday turns to Tuesday. Tuesday
Absolutely.
turns to Wednesday. One day at a time. One
Yep.
day at a time.
Just one foot in front of the other. Control what you can control. Stay where your feet are. And the only person that could stop you from being great, from being rich, from being powerful is you.
Yeah.
Keep that in your mind every day.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the naysayers. Don't worry about the dream stealers. Don't worry about people trying to bring you down, pull you down. Those people are doing that because they see that you have an anointing on you. They see that you are going to the top. And that's the devil trying to stop you. God is saying, "How bad do you want this dream? How bad do you want this goal? If you want it as bad as you say you do it, as you say you do, you would want it as bad as you want to take your next breath.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
how you have to be. You have to be obsessed,
Yeah.
to go after that goal. Not just, okay, I'm gonna go get it. No, you got to be blood, sweat, and tears. You got to sacrifice everything. You got to be dedicated, committed, persistent, and consistent. Everything, all bets in, all chips on the table. You got to go for it. And just have it in your mind that the front windshield is bigger than the rear windshield, because it's important for us to know our past, but we don't live in our past, and we're going forward, and we're going upward. And that's just how you got to be. You got to keep pushing every day, keep pushing and keep praying.
100%. And you got to be obsessed. I think that's the ending message. You got to be obsessed. And now, Bob, before I give the floor to promote, and where we can find all your stuff, I just want to give a shout out to Zenjoy. I don't know if anyone can see this even. Let's see if it even lightens up.
Yeah.
Zenjoy is truly, it's a relaxation drink, ashwagandha, L-theanine, lemon balm. In these stressful times, I turn to Zenjoy, and it has absolutely made a difference. And Bubba, if you want one, let me know. I'll get you some
Thank
out
you.
too, because they are so darn good, and they have truly changed my game. But now to you, where can we find you? When is this memoir coming out? What is that all looking like?
Yeah, you can find me across all social media platforms. Bubba Almony, BubbaAlmony. I'm on LinkedIn, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all over. And you can read about me on Google and read about different media outlets that have covered my journey. And also my memoir, God willing, it'll be coming out this year. I wanted to get it out last year, but it's not easy, writing a memoir. And also I pretty much work 7 days a week,
Wow.
between transportation, security, travel, mentoring youth, my give backs. I'm always involved in something. And so yeah. And then God willing, when it is released, it'll be available on Amazon, Walmart, Target, all these outlets, God willing, online. And I'll have some book signings in person. And yeah, it'll be great. And God willing, my story will motivate others and also bring them maybe a sense of healing, and also show them that if I could do it, hey, you could do it as well. And I'm no different than anybody. And I just had it in my mind that giving up wasn't even an option. I deleted any weakness from my mindset. I deleted any negativity from my mindset, that I no longer saw it, heard it, witnessed it, observed it. All I saw was positive, and the blessings in life and the good in people. And I just every day I just did that. And because otherwise those things will consume you and bring you down, and you could become negative or depressed or anything. And God could take you out of the depression. He could take you out of anxiety, And just my message for anybody going through any stress, depression, anxiety, that maybe that situation felt like, those things felt like they had you in checkmate. But God is shuffling the board around right now in this moment, and you will get past those things, and you will dominate the game of life, and you will, evict them. They've been living in your space too long, rent free, and you're at this moment. I pray that you would evict them, and that they've been, just what's the word I'm looking for? You know, basically, oh, they've been squatting. They've been squatting your space, and you have to take back control of your life, and you know, um, just you have to just erase, delete those things, and just put your mental health as a priority. Put your physical health as a priority. Put you as a priority, so that way you can help people. That way you can pour from your cup, and that way you can live a long, fulfilling, and beautiful life, and prosperous. Yeah.
100%. Please go follow Bubba on Instagram. First
Thank
5
you.
people to follow Bubba on Instagram. Send me a DM. We'll get you something special out to you, because this is someone you want to have in your life. You want to follow. You want to listen to, and you just want to learn from. I'll say it
Thank
as
you.
that. And Bubba, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for sharing. Thank you for
You're
being
very
open,
welcome.
honorable. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Until next time, the best bodyguard in the world,
Thank
and
you.
the
Thank you.
underdog, out.